What's going on, guys? Gino checking back here for another video today, and in this video I want to talk about natural fitness YouTubers. Now, on a lot of well-known fitness YouTubers there is a lot of discussion on their Instagram, their YouTube comments, whatever, debating whether they are natural, yes or no. Alright, now before I start the video or any kind of debate or discussion or whatever, I first want to clarify some things that you might have to take into consideration and that might actually pop a light bulb on some of you guys before you start to doubt about whether these individuals are actually natural, yes or no. Because before you judge if someone is actually natural, there are a few things you might have to take into consideration, which are: number one, how long has this person been training? Now, people often have the misconception that after like 2 or 3 years of lifting, you might have reached that natural muscle building potential that a lot of people talk about, which is actually, you know, quite the opposite. A lot of people think that after 2 or 3 years of lifting you have reached your natural potential, and everyone who gets bigger after those 2 to 3 years is automatically on the orange juice. This whole natural limit really doesn't get enough credit, because if you look at people like Matt Ogus, Jeff Nippard, Timberwolf, for example, people who have been training for 10 plus years or maybe even 15 to 20 plus years, they still make gains every year, but it's just really slow. And that is probably the reason why people think that, you know, after 2 to 3 years of lifting you might, like, you know, reach that limit. Because after reaching all of your noob gains, the gains just really get slower and slower and slower, and you might not see progresses month by month, but actually year by year. Number 2 that you have to take into consideration is obviously if they go through bulking and cutting cycles. Now, being a natural athlete, you have to go through bulks, and with a bulk automatically comes a little bit of body fat. Now, even if you do a lean bulk like me personally, you know, even at the end of a bulk you might be at a little bit of a higher body fat than you were when you were shredded as fuck. That's just the way it is, and that's why it's most likely a takeaway if someone is like single-digit body fat year round. That's probably a takeaway that are, you know, either using something or have really good genetics. Alright, so now that we know what to look for when judging if someone is actually natural, yes or no, let's talk about a few individuals that are really well known in the fitness YouTube industry and are really doubted a lot. Alright, the first fitness YouTuber on the list is Matt Ogus, the king of natural aesthetics. Now, Matt Ogus weighs about 180 to 185 pounds on average. He's about 5'7", I believe, 26 years old, and I believe in his latest Instagram post he stated that coming August he has been lifting for 11 years. Now, there's a lot of controversy about whether Matt Ogus is natural, yes or no, since he appears to always be shredded. However, you know, I've been following Matt Ogus for like since forever, since he actually started like YouTubing. He has been through a lot of long ass bulking cycles in which you can perfectly see that he gets to a pretty high body fat for his own standards and really focuses on whatever he has to do to build muscle mass. That means progressive overload, strength training, hypertrophy training, being properly knowledgeable, you know, on what he is actually doing. I believe his estimated FFMI is about 24, which puts him, you know, actually at naturally achievable, but really like elite naturally achievable. And that's what happens when you lift for 10 plus years, you know, dedicating yourself to surpluses and progressive overloading. You can achieve a really aesthetic physique as a natural if you've been training for so long. Alright, second on the list, Jeff Nippard, the bodybuilding professor when it comes to the fitness YouTube game. Now, Jeff Nippard's channel has really blown up recently, which he truly deserves because he puts out some of the best fitness content out there, in my opinion. Jeff weighs around 165 to 170 pounds. I believe he's 5'5" and around 26 years old, if I'm not mistaken. That means that around 10% body fat, his FFMI falls around 24 to 25, which is, you know, the same as Matt Ogus, achievable naturally, but at a really elite level. But that's highly likely to be the case if you've been training for 10, 11 years or even more. He has a really solid physique with mass in all the right places, but, you know, nonetheless, even at a pretty naturally achievable body weight, he still gets a ton of steroid accusations simply because of the mass that he has. And also considering the fact that he stays pretty lean on his bulks. But if you come to think of it logically, you know, he's a pro natural competitive bodybuilder. So it's only logical for him to stay at a pretty low body weight for his own standards, so that he doesn't stray away too close from his stage weight. He has a background in powerlifting, which makes it pretty obvious that he has such high level of strength. I believe he benched 315 for 7 reps, which was pretty easy in my opinion for him. He has a really solid physique, and in my opinion, if you've been training as long as him, you can achieve that at a natural basis. Alright, third on the list is Christian Guzman, aka the Guma. I've been following Christian myself since he was at like 4k subs or something, and he's now at like 700k plus, which is absolutely insane. And now Christian Guzman competed in a show just recently, I believe like last week since I made this video, so props to him. He looked absolutely shredded. At one day out he weighed around 167.2 pounds I believe, at 5'11", 24 years old. Now this puts his fat-free mass index at around 22 at one day out, which again, if you're training for 5 to 10 plus years, I believe he falls somewhere in the range between 5 and 10 years. That's perfectly achievable as a natural athlete. Now even if you have to be shredded year round like Christian, if you have a job like him, even Christian goes through bulking and cutting cycles. But him being naturally lean, if you've been following him for a long time, you can obviously tell he's naturally lean. According to his genetics, he still goes through bulking and cutting cycles, but he just appears to be lean year round, which he is, but not in a steroid kind of way. Alright, next on the list is Rob Lipsett, the Irish gangster. Now me personally, I've been following this guy since he had like 4 videos on his channel or anything, and it's amazing how well his channel has blown up. Like, props to you, man. Now Rob Lipsett also appears to be shredded year round, but if you look closely to his pictures and everything, and he's actually honest about it as well, he goes through bulking and cutting cycles as well. He just does a really good job at staying lean throughout the year, even through his bulk periods. Now Rob weighs around 170 pounds if I'm not mistaken. I really had trouble finding his weight. He's around 24 to 25 years old and around 5'8" to 5'9". He's also been training for 5 to 10 years with proper knowledge on nutrition and training. He actually knows what he is doing. I believe his fat-free mass index is put around 22, which again falls in the natural range of achievable fat-free mass index. He has an awesome physique, which is really achievable on a natural basis if you've been lifting for as long as him, doing everything as well as him, and just putting in the time and effort that he has. He has a solid physique, and if you put in the time and effort, you can achieve a similar physique to Rob Lipsett. Of course with your own genetics and body structure and everything, but you know what I mean, right? Alright, and then the last YouTuber on the list for this video is Gokuflex, aka Mad Keto. Alright, in my personal opinion, Gokuflex has one of the sickest natural achievable physiques in the fitness industry, like all around. He has huge arms, sick delts, and overall just really massive, while still having an aesthetic build to his physique. Now if you're sometimes scrolling through the comments of his videos, he gets a ton of steroid accusations, which is pretty obvious simply because of all the muscle mass that he is carrying. People obviously take the short takeaway that if someone has a lot of muscle mass, that's obviously automatically steroids, right? But here comes the thing, Matt has been lifting for 14 years. That is a long time. Right, Matt Keto weighs around 175 pounds, he's 5'8" and has a fat-free mass index of I believe 22.9. which again falls in the natural range. Now Gokuflex is obviously a perfect example of how your body can look and what you can achieve on a natural basis if you've been lifting for 10 plus years, in his case 14 years. 14 years of training with proper nutrition, progressive overload, knowing what you're doing with training, and having so much knowledge and training under your belt, you can achieve a freaking aesthetic natural physique. And one thing that I like about his personality and what he preaches in his videos is that you can achieve a really aesthetic physique if you've been training for so long. And whenever he gets a steroid accusation, he actually goes in depth on that person, asking why certain people state that he uses steroids, if they don't even take into consideration how long he has been training and what he has done, training wise and nutrition wise in order to achieve that physique. He's just overall a really awesome guy with amazing videos and an awesome channel. Alright, and that is it for the natural athletes that I want to cover in this video. I wanted to kind of make this video just to show you guys that you can actually build an aesthetic looking massive physique as a natural athlete. It's about time that the common misconception that you can only get gains for 2 to 3 years and everything after that is either steroids or you're plateaued for the rest of your life, which is simply just not the case. Gains continue to grow. It's just gonna get slower and slower throughout the years. Alright, so I want to thank you guys all for watching the video. If you liked it, please smash that thumbs up button because it really helps out the channel grow. Comment down below on what you thought and what you would like to see next. Subscribe to the channel for so much more content coming really soon. I'm out, guys. Peace out, see you in the next video.